I just checked the weather, and it's inevitable. I'm going to be riding into some pretty gnarly storms as I ride up the North Shore. There's no avoiding it. I'm taking a break right now to get some gas and have a snack before heading up to the border. I know I spent a lot of the season in Minnesota, and I promise we're going to dive into Canada next episode. We're almost there. It's the journey, not the destination, right? I'm just south of the border. And when that Webster-Ashburton Treaty was signed and created the border I'm heading toward, I'm not really sure either party knew the entirety of what was in these newly defined American lands in the arrowhead of Minnesota. Once in U.S. hands, and once white settlement had been established, an extremely lucrative logging industry exploded here. After that, the Iron Range came online, and the number of lumber and mining barons here in Duluth made it the city with the most millionaires in the U.S. The treaty really gave Minnesota some lucrative property. The glory days of the range and the lumber boom have faded. The logging industry has become a lot more tame and regulated, and the mining industry has declined and become more controversial.
126 to Thunder Bay!
One industry that still remains, that can go on much longer and is a lot less destructive, is tourism. Minnesota's North Shore is pretty much defined by Highway 61, the main drag that runs up the shore, bringing tourists from all over ready to get away from city life. In episode 2 of this season, we talked about how National Scenic Byways need at least one of these 6 intrinsic qualities. The Edge of the Wilderness Highway in episode 2 meets the natural beauty requirement, as much of the environment there is in an undisturbed state. Minnesota's Highway 61 is a special kind of scenic byway called an All-American Road. The North Shore Scenic Byway has both scenic and recreational qualities, gaining it the special All-American Road status. The whole road starts in downtown Duluth. The trip from Duluth to the Canadian border is about 150 miles or almost 3 hours of travel. By contrast, it takes about a half hour less to drive from Minneapolis to Duluth for the same 150-mile distance, so don't be fooled. It's just how long the shore takes. I'd also be disappointed if you tried to pass it too fast. Along this All-American Road is a ton of natural beauty. There's not just 2 or 4, not 6, but 8 state parks along the North Shore, complete with waterfalls, miles of hiking trails, a lighthouse, and the infamous Devil's Kettle, a natural pothole where a river splits in half and half of it disappears into the ground. After legends of dozens of ping pong balls and GPS trackers being dropped into it, it's been a popular regional mystery around here that it's not known where the water that pours into Devil's Kettle goes. In addition to the state parks, there are 2 other scenic byways that attach to this. The Skyline Parkway Scenic Byway, which is a beautiful drive around the streets of Duluth, and the Gunflint Trail National Scenic Byway, which is a remote trail without any towns that leads up to the Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness. On the North Shore, in addition to these state parks, you'll pass by old railroads and ports of the Iron Range. I made an episode last season on how the Iron Range is kind of a boomtown graveyard. Because mining operations made moving whole towns necessary, there were many companies standing by to relocate entire homes once towns fell apart. For this reason, not many ghost towns are left behind in the Northwoods. Many people would pack up their homes and leave with them. An example of this would be the remains of Taconite Harbor along Highway 61, situated along an old Iron Range railroad. When the town dried up and jobs were short, many houses moved to nearby Silver Bay. Eerily, there is one lone street lamp left where the town once was, alongside the crumbling remains of streets being reclaimed by nature. Google satellites still managed to capture what's left of what appears to be street paint. I'm putting my passport in my inside jacket pocket and putting away my helmet cam. As you can tell, I'm absolutely thrilled for what's next. Farther up the shore is Lutsen, a ski resort in the Sawtooth Range, Minnesota's only patch of slightly mountainous terrain. If you're looking for altitude, this would probably be the only place you'd find it in the upper Midwest. Honestly, I thought I'd have enough time to get through this before the rain hit, but here we are. So let's finish this up. The Sawtooth Mountains. Not the ones I was in Idaho, but the ones of the same name here in Minnesota's North Shore. Speaking of these mountains, they appear on the logo of the Superior Hiking Trail. Inspired by the Appalachian Trail, this is a 310-mile-long hiking trail that goes from the Wisconsin border south of Duluth to the Canadian border in the north. It was created with the help of the state of Minnesota in the 1980s. It has waterfalls, scenic overlooks, and just under 100 free backcountry campsites. It touches 7 out of 8 of the North Shore's state parks, and many marathons and races are held along it all. There are no motorized vehicles, horses, or mountain bikes allowed on the trail. Recently, it was incorporated into the National Trail System and is a part of the North Country Scenic Trail, which goes from North Dakota to Vermont. I personally don't know anyone who's done a through hike, which is traversing the whole trail, but Paul Klina is known to be the first. Klina was paralyzed from the waist down, and he did it in 1995 on crutches, raising $16,000 for the Trail Association. His story is in the description. If you go to their website, there are membership fees for those who would like to give to the maintenance of the whole length of the trail, and their information is in the description of this video. The rain is obviously keeping me from enjoying the North Shore's views, and there's not many places I'm going to be stopping for photos in this. Besides, I can stop in the North Shore anytime. It's only a few hours away from me. The real adventure lies in Canada, just ahead. I just need to keep pushing north.